Guys, you want to know something that's pretty fucking crazy? As a pretty dumb 23-year-old, I was able to make 300K my first year. That's profit, guys, by doing the one thing I'm going to show you in this video. And I did not build a business. Like I said, I was not the brightest tool in the shed. Tried to build a business, which was an agency. It didn't work. Okay. I tried to build a dropshipping store when I was even younger. It didn't work. I got into something called Hightech remote sales. And in this one, I'll break it down step by step, exactly what it was that I did. Don't worry. I'm not going to, do some stupid ass annoying training that you guys have seen a million times. Literally, I'm just going to tell you what I did. Okay. If you guys want to copy it, you can copy it. If you don't. My job on this video is to just break down exactly what I did so I can just give you guys some value. So with that being said, I will see you guys in the inside. See you there. What is up, guys? In this one, I'm going to break down the exact process that I used to go from a complete brokey. I was literally delivering pizzas, guys, to making over 300K during my first year as a high ticket remote closer. I know that's a fucking crazy claim, right? But guys, I have the receipts. I documented everything, and I'm so glad that I did, right? Because now I can make this video and inspire you guys and show you exactly how I did this and change some more lives, right? So let's dive into what essentially unfolded within my life. Now, let's dive into the receipts first, right? Because guys, like I can tell you that, making your first 1, 5, or 10K online, the best way to do this is going to be with high ticket remote sales. But, until you guys see how it changed my life, doesn't make sense to dive into it, right? So let's talk about that first. So guys, for starters, I got my start closing for this man right over here. His name is Serge Guattari. He's a founder of a company called clientacquisition.io. Here's some pictures of us just chilling together, at a dinner. Here's around the time where I first started closing for him. It's just, guys, I get so nostalgic when I look at these pictures, right? Around this time, I'd close like 230K worth of deals for him, within like a 3-month period. This is like another picture, fast forward a few more months. Let's go down. And this right here is the interview that we posted as well. It's still on YouTube, guys, where we basically talk about, how I got into it and like how I started making 20K a month in commissions. And by this point, I had closed like roughly $500,000 after my first couple of months as well. This right here is like the revenue that the company had by the time I had left after about a year and a half, which was about 3.25 million. And this was like their best revenue month. And this was like examples of my commission checks, right? So as an example, guys, like when I had quit closing, I had made over 400K in commissions. Keep in mind, guys, this is like all profit, right? Like most people when they start a business, obviously they have overhead and then their margins are like 50 to 60%. In closing, it's all profit. And like, if you look at these commissions, guys, you can see 30 grand, 27 grand, 30 grand, 22 grand. And this was like month after month after month. Now, most importantly, guys, like aside from it changing my life, from making a ton of money and, being able to travel, it led me to change the lives of other people, right? As an example over here, here's some like case studies and results, right? Jacob was able to make 20K a month consistently in commissions within just the first 90 days. Owen was able to take home over 60K in commissions within just a 4-month time period. Matthew was able to make 42K in 90 days. Isaac was able to make 16K a month within this first 30 days. Alex made over 50K in 90 days. These interviews should actually probably be up by the time you guys are watching this as well. And guys, there's like countless more. I just have to make a crap ton of interviews, but yeah, we've done this for many people at this point. We have like 80 people in our community and over 20 of them are already making 6 figures, like yearly profit just with closing. Here's some screenshots, guys. You can see John, 11K cash collected today. You got 15% of that. So like guys, any screenshot that you see here, the closers got anywhere between 10 to 15%, but mainly 15% because the offers that these guys are on, they get 15% commission. So you can see John, 11K cash collected, Isaac 4.8, Alex 4.8, Save 3, Ohm 4.6, Gohar 4.8, 3.43. Guys, like keep in mind that these guys are literally making 1 to 2K a day just taking sales calls. So guys, how the heck did I even get into this? Well, sit back because it's a very interesting story. So guys, I got my start right around quarantine time, and I thought that my way out was going to be to build an agency. Now, why did I feel like I had to build an agency? Why did I even feel like I had to make money in the first place? What was my reason for doing all of this? Insecurity, right? Guys, I was massively insecure. I felt like complete shit, right? In my house, I was consistently compared to my older brother. I had very toxic friends around that period in time, and I felt like I was literally a worthless human being, right? And like for as long as I can remember, guys, I was always considered the black sheep of my family. Even at this point, after, being successful and making, hundreds of thousands of dollars, I still feel the exact same way. And, around that time, I was like, all right, enough is enough. It was quarantine. I was just basically locked in my, room all day. And I was like, okay, you know what? Like, let me actually do something with my life. And around that time, after watching a ton of Iman Godzi videos, I was like, okay, my way out is going to be to build an agency. This is what I have to do. Now, guys, I'm not going to sugarcoat it because I failed massively by building a business or rather starting a business, and it made me feel like complete shit. The main reason why I felt like complete shit, guys, was because I had a massive chip on my shoulder, and in my mind, I was like, okay, failure is not an option. I have to succeed. But, when things were just not working my way, I just felt terrible, right? Like the coaches I would pay, that had already paid, right? They would try to make me feel better by saying, Hassan, you booked in a sales call. You should be proud of yourself. Iman kept telling me on his YouTube videos, keep stacking those private victories. But guys, no matter how many cold showers I took, no matter how many meditation sessions I did, it didn't change one pivotal fact. And that was I was just dead broke. Right. And the worst part about all this, guys, was around this period in time, because I was working so fucking hard, anytime I would get additional criticism, it obviously just felt way worse. Right. It's one thing when people are talking shit and you're not doing anything to change your situation. Right. Whatever. But when you were literally working 12 hours a day, 7 days a week, and people still talk shit, it fucking sucks, right? Because in my situation, I was I'm doing whatever the fuck I can, and this just isn't working, all right? And that feeling of helplessness, it's I cannot explain how painful that is, guys, right? And for me, what I had done eventually was I started working at Pizza Hut, right? Horrible job, because I felt like I had no choice, and I was working there 12 hours a day, 7 days a week as well. I'd basically put my business a little bit on pause. I was still doing outreach after coming home. I don't know how I even did that, but at that point in time, I was okay, I have no choice, right? And you can see my situation here, guys. Look at this guy. I literally was a failed 22-year-old. I felt like my confidence was at an all-time low. I just felt like complete crap. I had completely quit working out. Wasn't really taking care of myself. You guys can even see the dates over here. December 21, 2020. Where I'm in my Pizza Hut uniform. But guys, life was really not fun here, right? Especially because when I would go on Instagram and I would see young 18-year-old business owners just being super successful, that didn't help either. I felt like shit. There's just no way of sugarcoating it. Now, here's how I discovered high ticket sales by complete accident, and this is literally what fucking saved my life, right? Essentially. And it's funny because it all happened by complete accident, right? After Iman told me to run a marketing agency, right? Because initially I was yeah, I got to build a marketing agency. That's going to be my way out, right? Because Iman Ghazi was someone I related with heavily, but turned out that was not the way, right? So here's what actually ended up happening, guys. So after losing on nearly 10K, because I was down 10K trying to build my first successful business, I bought another agency program. I know you guys are probably thinking, Hassan, you idiot, why would you do that? But guys, this is where literally everything changed. So after I was working at Pizza Hut, I decided to go and drive taxi because my cousin told me to come to Toronto and drive taxi, and he was you'll make good money. Ended up not being true, but still driving taxi at the age of 22. But after my shift, I was on Instagram, and the company that I had paid, right, Serge's company, he goes on his story and he says he's looking for a closer. Okay. Now I didn't even know what a closer was at that time, but I was fuck it. I have nothing to lose. In my mind, I was do I got to book appointments for this guy? Do I got to take calls for this guy? I don't know what that is. But making that decision and applying was the best decision of my life, guys, because it led to a domino effect that forever changed the trajectory of my entire life. Now, how did my life change for the better after getting into high-tech remote sales? Look, guys, I know this is going to sound very cliche, but, guys, I can talk to you about money and whatnot, but literally everything fucking changed. I'm not going to talk about money and how, it changed my life from things I was able to buy, but I'm more so going to talk about how it made me feel. Because guys, at this point, I've hit 60K months with my company, but nothing, and I fucking mean nothing, will ever feel better than making that first 10K month, right? Because I was actually able to make 10K in commissions during my first month in high ticket remote sales. And this is after failing with business for a year and a half, right? And guys, to be blunt, it felt like what I think meth would feel like. Guys, I've never done meth, but I'm going to guess that's what it felt like. I was literally on fucking cloud 9. And look, again, although now sitting here, in front of you guys, I can tell you objectively that 10K a month is not a lot of money. At that point in time, it felt like I won the fucking lottery. Everything started to make sense because at that point, I had felt like I was just, in my mind, I was when the fuck is my moment going to come, right? I've suffered for a year and a half. I've tried everything. I've spent so much money on everything. I remember having a conversation with myself vividly after dropping off a client, right? Or passenger, and I was driving back and I was man, I don't want to make 2K, 4K, 5K. If I do make money at all, just having this conversation out loud, I was look, if I do make money at all, I just want to make 10K my first month. I just want to know what that fucking feels like. Because at this point, I just feel like I've been through so much, right? I was victimizing myself, but I really wanted that taste. And again, guys, when it happened, like for the first time in my life, I can tell you, like, I was actually proud of myself. So why is sales the most valuable skill you can learn in the online day and age? Now, look, I can write a 100-page essay on this, but instead I'll show you a billionaire's opinion on this, because I think he's a lot more qualified than I am, right? He's a freaking billionaire. So Mark Cuban himself said that the most valuable skill you can learn is sales. And if he was to become broke again, he'll learn sales to make his first few $100,000, right? Here's a quote: sales is the most important aspect of a company, which in turn is about how well you treat your customer and stay ahead of your customer's requirements. Now, guys, aside from Mark Cuban's opinion, let's just be logical for a minute, right? Like after learning sales, you will have a skill set that will transfer in all areas of your life. Like if you ever wanted to build a business, any qualified call that you book, you're now going to close, right? I literally get business owners right now paying me 10 to 20 grand to retrain their sales teams. Literally, right? I was able to scale my own business to 50K a month in 3 months. I didn't have the best leads. How did I do this? All of this happened after I was able to master high-ticket remote sales. And guys, I literally tell my clients, I'm like, guys, I don't want you to be closers forever, right? Literally the game plan to making your first million. I tell this to all of my clients. I tell them, I'm like, look, get into sales first, make your first couple $100,000, do this for anywhere between a year to 2 years. And then from there, build whichever company you want. Because at that point, you're gonna have the skill set needed and you're gonna have the money needed, right? You'll have the capital as well. If you don't want to do that and you want to just stay closing, you can do that too, right? You'll still make millions. That's the best part about sales, guys. It's been around forever. This isn't something that's like crazy and revolutionary. We're just using logic and we're staying away from bad marketing and we're using our common sense, guys. Now, why is it that you can make so much money from this, right? You're probably thinking, okay, Hassan, this makes sense. I get it, cool, but like, what's the catch? Like, why is it that sales reps are making 10, 20, or even 30K a month by just taking sales calls? Like, there's other industries, people sell insurance, people knock on doors, they don't make this much. So, why the hell are people here making so much? It's very simple, guys. Now, you are getting paid in direct proportion to the value that you're providing, right? So it's very, very simple. In other words, you guys are getting a piece of the pie. Now, I want you guys to imagine that, you run a business and your closer just closed 100K worth of deals for you. In other words, he just made you 100 grand. And if he asked for 10 to 15% of the money that he made you using your brand, I don't think you'd really have any problems paying him because he just created that money for you, essentially out of thin air, right? So guys, it's very interesting because like when I was closing for Surge, like around that time when I got started, I was 22, right? And like I was making anywhere between like 20 to 30 grand a month, but there's a CEO and he was getting paid 4K, right? So it was very, very odd feeling because I would be in meetings reporting to that CEO, would be like literally making 7 to 10 times his monthly income. All right, and the cherry on the top, guys, again, not to be arrogant, this is just kind of insane. So I was 22, turning 23, and this guy was 27, 28, nearing 30. And it was awkward sometimes, right? It was. I remember at one point he told me, like, we're just like chilling, and he's like, Hassan, you know that you make more than every employee in this company combined? And I was like, hey man, nothing's stopping you from getting into sales as well. And we kind of just both laughed about it. Now guys, how can you get started into remote sales? Well, here are the 4 key pillars. Number 1 is you need to learn how to sell ASAP by finding someone trustworthy. This might be a bit hard in the beginning because if you guys go on YouTube and you guys go on Google, you're gonna find conflicting information, someone saying one thing, someone saying another thing. It can be a bit confusing. But ideally, guys, you wanna learn how to sell as quickly as you can because if you don't have that skill set, well, I mean, what's the point in doing any of this, right? You can either go the free route or the paid route. I highly recommend going the paid route and finding someone that you can relate with, someone who actually has everything laid out so you can trust them. It'll just make your life 100 times easier. Number 2, guys, is you need to learn how you can build yourself a network. This is so freaking important, right? Look, you can do outreach, on Instagram, on Facebook groups and whatnot, but everyone is doing that. If you can build yourself a network, you will find the best opportunities. And guys, little industry secret, the best opportunities are always found within a network. I have companies coming to me who I've helped scale to, 1 million, 1.5 million, 2 million, and they never post the fact that they're looking for closers on Facebook groups, on Instagram. They don't do that, right? Instead, they come to me and they ask me, hey, Hassan, I need to build a sales team, help me out. And what do you think I do, guys? I just place all my clients inside of their company, right? So very, very important to build yourself a network. Number 3 is get very, very good at passing sales interviews and vetting companies. you can have all the skills you want at closing, but if you basically drop the ball before you even get started, that would really suck, right? That would not be fun at all. Very, very important that you understand the logistics behind how an interview is ran. And also very, very important that you know how to vet companies the right way, okay? If you guys choose the wrong company and you're in there for 2 to 3 weeks, maybe even a month, and you learn the offer, got ready, and then you find out that the company really sucks, guys, that's not fun, right? Not fun at all. And number 4, lock into your first offer. Obviously, guys, again, same thing. You can have all the skills you want in the world, but if you don't have an offer to sell for, you're not making any money, right? So very, very important that you can find your first offer as quickly as possible. Now, what happens in 90 days if you go on this path? Guys, in 90 days, your life will be completely different. And I can say this with a straight face and with pride because of 2 main reasons. Number 1 is we've helped dozens of clients do the exact same thing within our community. And the second is, guys, we are focusing on learning and mastering one skill set, right? I'm not telling you guys to learn 100 skill sets like other business models. I'm telling you to only learn one, right? And one of my favorite quotes of all time is by Bruce Lee. You guys have probably heard it. Fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks once, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times, right? And to me, what this essentially means, guys, is if you put your head down and you focus on just learning one skill set, you're going to become ridiculously good at it, right? It's impossible not to. If you do one thing, just one thing, nonstop, you will get good at it. You will, right? You might not be great at it, but you will get good at it. And guys, the good news here is getting good at high ticket sales will make you 10 grand. Getting great will make you 30. I have a genuine belief that if you just put your head down and focus on learning one skill set every single day within just the next 90 days, you will be shocked at how good you're going to get. I don't think I'm that clever of a guy, guys. I really don't. And I think that what I did just worked because I did something practical. And at this point, guys, it's made me well over $500,000. Now, what keeps people stuck? So guys, after having coached hundreds of people, I can confidently say that failure comes down to 2 main factors. The first one, guys, is not being delusional enough, okay? Now, you're probably thinking, Hassan, what the fuck are you saying? What do you mean by not being delusional enough? Check this out, guys. This might just blow your mind, right? So for starters, if you guys are watching this, there's a pretty good chance that there's not that much success in your environment, right? You're probably not where you want to be, and the people around you are probably not where you want to be. Your teachers, parents, friends, probably not making the type of money you want to make, right? So what this means, guys, to be very blunt, is a success for you is technically very slim, right? And I mean, you tell me this. If you were to go to your parents right now, your friends, and you said, hey guys, I'm going to make 6 figures this year, I'm pretty sure that for most of you, your parents and your friends are going to look at you like you've seen like those cringy Andrew Tate or, those Gary Vee videos, right? They're going to just be like, okay. And if you further the conversation, they're going to tell you to just relax, be realistic, right? They're going to bring you back down to their version of reality. And to be honest, your parents and your friends are not necessarily bad people, okay? They're just doing what they think is best for you. But the problem here, guys, is that what's the best for them is not the best for you, right? You guys have 2 completely different definitions of success, which is why you're here watching this video, okay? The second reason, guys, that people fail is if they don't receive the right help. Now, again, I'm not trying to be, super cheesy here, guys, but let's just be logical for just a minute. Let's say that after watching all of this, you're like, all right, Hassan, cool. I'm going to go ahead and, do this myself. All right, cool. So, in theory, you can go on YouTube, you can try your best to learn about high ticket remote sales, but you're going to find a lot of conflicting information. You're going to literally find guys that have done this for 2-3 months. They're teaching sales, which, yes, is it unethical? Yeah, but it sucks for you, right? Because you're going to go on YouTube and you're not going to know how to differentiate it. All right. And the reason this is going to happen, guys, is because any information to you is going to be good. Think about it. You right now are a blank canvas, right? So if you learn from someone who has been doing this for like 2 months, who's not really that great, well, to you, it's still going to be good information because you're going to be like, amazing. This is good. Now, what sucks though is like you can be running in circles for about 6 months to a year without even knowing it. And you might just give up because you might be like, shit, I didn't make any tangible progress, right? When in reality, all you had to do was just work with someone who knew what they were doing so you don't have to step on any landmines, right? Guys, I've done this for 2 years at this point. I've made all the mistakes, right? At this point, I'm very, very confident I know what I'm doing because I've not only just done this for myself, but I've done this for tons and tons of clients. Now, guys, here's how my program helps. My program is designed to help build out your sales career from A to Z. It focuses on only 2 factors and the only 2 factors that matter, okay? The first one, guys, is teaching you how to sell at a high level. And the second one is ensuring that you can get placed in a 7-figure business. Lots of sales guys and sales gurus on the internet talk about placement being simple and easy. Oh, just do the outreach. Okay. I mean, maybe it's simple and easy to get placed in a shit company that's going to overwork you and maybe pay you 2 to 3K a month in commissions if you're lucky. It's funny because they're still going to give you hell in the interview. But if you're looking to make 20K or more in an offer, then that's where having the right networks, guys, becomes a necessity. So what does it look like from A to Z? Guys, I wanted to make sure that when you guys come in as beginners, it's not taking you months and months and months to learn sales. It shouldn't take that long. I want to make sure that as quickly as possible, you're able to learn what you need to know to be able to make your first 10K as fast as possible, right? So within the course material specifically, we talk about mindset, placement, the fundamentals, what you need to know in the first 10 to 15 minutes of a call, which is called the discovery process, objection handling, live mini sales lessons. I have something called practicing what I preach in my live sales calls. So one thing that I'm very proud of is you can actually see me selling live. No one literally does this in the industry, but I have nothing to hide. I want to show you my sales calls so you can actually watch them, right? So you'll see them inside of the community here as well. In addition to this, guys, obviously we already have a network at this point that you guys can get placed in directly once you guys pass our placement test. But we also have a method where you guys can be booking in anywhere between 5 to 10 interviews per week. Most people tend to struggle to even book in one a month. But guys, we've uncovered a way where we can do 5 to 10 per week. It works incredibly well because we're not going to tell you to go on Facebook groups, guys. That just doesn't work. We have our own methods and they work very, very well. Now, in addition to this, you guys can see that over here, you will get access to a community of winners. They do the exact same thing that you're doing right now. We literally have a ranking system, guys. We have like closers that are making 20K a month, right? We give them the rank of veteran. We have closers that are making 7 to 15K a month, right? We give them the rank of intermediate closer. We have novice closers making between, as you guys can see, 2 to 5K a month. And we also have our apprentices, which is our beginners. You also get access to 5 live weekly coaching calls, guys. So every single week, there's no excuse that you guys have to not get better. So this information, guys, is being given to you by people who are actively doing this right now, right? At this point, guys, I've closed nearly 4 million in sales. If you guys are learning from us and you guys are taking 5 calls a week, there is absolutely no reason that you will fail. What are the next steps? So look, if you're finally tired of everyone telling you to start a business and you just want a simple path at making your first 10K a month, take home profit, then what you need to do is book in a consultation call with my team. Guys, the worst case scenario if you book in the call is you'll just leave with some actionable steps that you guys can use to ensure that you can potentially figure a way out, right? At this point, I'm sure that you guys are just tired and you want to make a change. Nothing's been working. You've been trying month after month or maybe year after year. So guys, if that makes sense, then click the link down below and book in a call. With that being said, I'll see you guys soon. Take care, and I wish you a beautiful day.